slide shows adrenal gland, left adrenal gland and right adrenal gland. In this slide you see about the these arterial supply adrenal glands. Left arterial suprarenal gland, right superior suprarenal gland. These arteries supply adrenal glands. Adrenal glands secrete important hormones. We need to adrenal hormones, especially cortex adrenal hormones. If every person has not cortex adrenal hormones, she or he die, because these hormones are very, very important hormones. This slide you see abdominal aorta. Superior suprarenal artery is a branch of abdominal aorta. These arteries supply adrenal gland. Okay? This slide shows you about the compartments of adrenal gland. Adrenal gland have two sections, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Approximately 80% of adrenal gland related to adrenal cortex. Near 20% of adrenal gland related to adrenal medulla. Okay? Adrenal medulla secrete norepinephrine and epinephrine. In our body, adrenal medulla is similar sympathetic ganglion because it is norepinephrine and epinephrine. But adrenal cortex is very, very important. Adrenal cortex have three zona. Zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticulata. Zona glomerulosa and zona fasciculata, zona reticulata, zona glomerulosa and zona reticulata have a few little of cells, but zona fasciculata have many cells. I repeat for you, adrenal gland have two compartments, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Approximately 80% of adrenal gland related to adrenal cortex. Near 20% of adrenal gland related to adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla release norepinephrine and epinephrine. Similar, these material released from sympathetic neurons. Therefore, adrenal medulla in our body is similar ganglion of sympathetic. Okay? But adrenal cortex have three zona or layer. Zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticulata. Okay? Zona glomerulosa, these cells in this area are similar glomerulus in the kidney. Zona fasciculata, these cells have ordinary parallel cells together, but zona reticulata, these cells in this area, in the zona reticulata, have a complex of cells, okay? But zona fasciculata, in the zona fasciculata area, these cells are ordinal and very arranged, okay? This slide shows about zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticulata, and adrenal medulla. This area about zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticulata. Okay? What are adrenal cortex hormones. These hormones are named corticosteroid hormones. Okay? From adrenal cortex, corticosteroid hormones release. Corticosteroid hormones have three types: mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoid, and sex steroids. Okay? The origin of these hormones is cholesterol. The origin of these hormones is cholesterol. Okay? When we need two mineralocorticoids, cholesterol convert to mineralocorticoid. When you need two glucocorticoids, cholesterol convert to glucocorticoid. When you need to sex steroid, cholesterol convert to sex steroids. Therefore, the origin or the source of these hormones is cholesterol. Okay? The first action, cholesterol convert to the pregnenolone. The first action, cholesterol convert to pregnenolone. The first action, cholesterol convert to pregnenolone. Therefore, when we need to mineralocorticoid, pregnenolone convert to mineralocorticoid. When we need glucocorticoid, pregnenolone convert to this hormone. When you need to sex steroids, pregnenolone convert to sex steroid. Therefore, the first phase, cholesterol convert to the pregnenolone, is ordinarily between the synthesis of these hormones. Okay? From zona glomerulosa, mineralocorticoids secrete. From zona fasciculata and reticulata, glucocorticoid release, especially from zona fasciculata. Sex steroid hormone release from zona reticulata. Okay? From zona glomerulosa release mineralocorticoid. From zona fasciculata and reticulata, especially zona fasciculata, glucocorticoid release. From zona reticulata, sex steroid hormones. Approximately 20 to 25% of corticosteroid hormones are mineralocorticoid. Approximately 60 to 65% of hormones are glucocorticoids. Approximately 5 to 10% of hormones are sex steroid hormones. Okay? The important mineralocorticoid in our body is aldosterone. The important mineralocorticoids in our body is aldosterone. The important glucocorticoids in our body is cortisol. Okay? From zona reticulata, release sex steroids. But you must know, these sex steroids are weak sex steroids, no strong sex steroid hormones. Okay? From this area, release weak sex steroid hormones, no strong sex steroid hormones. Because in the boy or men, strong sex hormone release from testes. In men or girls, strong sex steroid hormones release from ovary. Okay? Therefore, from zona reticulata, release only weak sex steroids. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay.
In this slide, you see about the synthesis of steroid hormones. These actions named hormonal cascade. In the hormonal cascade, cholesterol converts to pregnenolone. This action is similar between the synthesis of these hormones. The first time, cholesterol convert to pregnenolone, pregnenolone convert to aldosterone, pregnenolone convert to cortisol, pregnenolone convert to estrogen and estradiol and weak sex hormones, for example. We have two types weak sex hormones, male sex hormones and female sex hormones. Weak female sex hormones are estriol and estriol. Weak male hormones are androstenedione and dihydroepiandrosterone, not testosterone. Testosterone is a strong male hormones and released from testes. Okay? I repeat for you. From zona reticulata, release approximately 5 to 10% weak sex hormones, female and male. Weak female hormones, for example, estriol. Weak male hormones, androstenedione and dihydroepiandrosterone. These hormones are in your book.
Should we memorize them?
What?
Should we memorize them?
The box line.
Steps.
The way.
باید این حفظ کنیم؟
Yes. You must read total these names because these hormones are very, very important for medical students.
کلا یا فقط پرگنالون.
من به فارسی میگم شما بگید. ببینید بچه‌ها گوش کنید. Please listen. You don't know or read these another name, but you must know cholesterol to the pregnenolone convert to aldosterone. Okay? Pregnenolone convert to cortisol. Pregnenolone convert to the estriol in female. In the male convert to androstenedione and dihydroepiandrosterone. These hormones are very, very important. ببینید اونایی فارسی میفهمید شما چون دانشجو پزشکی هستید دانشجو پزشکی همه چی باید بدونید همه چی همه چی شما دکتر میشید درسته؟ من مثلا به دندان پزشکی اینقدر نمیگم از ولش میکنم دندان بس استیدیو تو دندان میخواد چیکار کنه؟
ولی قدم به قدم یاد میگیرید
داروسازی اصلا به اندازه شما نباید بدونید
دکتر رشته
شما رشته‌تونه یعنی شما دارین بهترین رشته و سخت‌ترین رشته رو می‌خونید. بهترین رشته، بهترین رو. اونایی که فارسی می‌فهمید حالا براتون میگم. من خودم که الان هیچی دکترا دارم و دکترای فیزیولوژی. همسرم پزشکه. vascular surgeon. My husband is vascular surgeon. My son is orthopedic. My daughter is auditory system and for eye, specialist for eye and glaucoma.
ماشاءالله.
درسته؟ داماد شما چی میگید؟ شوهر دخترم. یعنی
Granddaughter.
Yes. Is ENT. میخوام بگم هیچ رشته‌ای به اندازه رشته پزشکی مهم نیست. بالاخره اگر رشته سختیه ولی مهمه. باشه ولی بالاخره شما دکتر میشید یعنی بالاترین رشته بهترین رشته خب برای همینجوری با خوب درس میکنید سخت هست خوب درس میکنید تا انشاءالله دکترای خوب میشه شما برگردید فامیلی خودتون انشاءالله This slide shows about the percent of this area. For example, I told you approximately near 20% of adrenal gland related to adrenal medulla. Okay? Approximately 80% related to adrenal cortex. For example, 8% related to zona fasciculata. 50% related to zona glomerulosa. 7% related to zona reticulata. Okay? Zona fasciculata related to glucocorticoid, zona glomerulosa related to aldosterone, zona reticulata related to weak sex hormones. Okay? This extract shows the control of adrenal hormones, similar thyroid hormones. For example, this is adrenal cortex. adrenal cortex release cortisol. From adrenal anterior pituitary gland release ACTH. ACTH have receptors on the adrenal cortex. From hypothalamus release CRH. CRH have receptors on the anterior pituitary gland and activate ACTH. Okay? From higher brain centers, maybe many hormone release and effect on hypothalamus. These hormones affect hypothalamus. From hypothalamus release CRH effect on the pituitary gland. From pituitary gland related ACTH have receptors on the adrenal cortex and release cortisol. If our body cortisol reach to high level, cortisol in the high level damage to our body. Similar thyroid hormones, we need to control normal of adrenal hormones. No high, no low level. Okay. When in our body cortisol reach to high level, can by negative feedback inhibit ACTH. Also inhibit CRH. Again, cortisol released to normal value. Okay? This is that shows about the receptor of adrenal hormones. You know, adrenal hormones are steroid hormones. Steroid hormones, you know, have cytoplasmic receptors. Okay? You know, steroid hormones have lipid. Therefore, simply transfer from cell membrane and enter to the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, combine to the receptors. The complex of receptors and adrenal hormones enter to the nucleus. Okay? Again, activate mRNA, synthesize mRNA, RNA, and tRNA. Similar thyroid hormones synthesize new protein. New proteins activate on our body. Okay? Therefore, steroid hormones have cytoplasmic receptors. This slide shows about aldosterone. Aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid and is steroid hormones. Similar, another steroid hormones have receptors in the cytoplasm and enter to the nucleus and synthesize of protein. This slide shows about the aldosterone. Therefore, the first time I tell you about aldosterone. Okay? What is aldosterone? It is a steroid hormone synthesized in the zona glomerulosa. Okay? Of the adrenal cortex, responsible for electrolytes, sodium, chloride, and potassium, and fluid balance in the body. Therefore, aldosterone is known a mineralocorticoid hormone. Okay? Aldosterone controls the value or induce balance between sodium and potassium and chloride, especially sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are very, very important more than chloride. Do you know why sodium and potassium are very, very important in our body? Why?
Cardiac output. Cardiac for
Sodium and potassium are important for neural
Blood pressure.
Sodium and potassium are important for neural transmission.
Yes.
Blood
For
pressure.
action
For action potential in our body, you need to sodium and potassium. Okay? Sodium and potassium are important minerals in our body. When you have very little of sodium, damage to the action potential. You don't produce action potential in neurons, in muscles, in the cells. Okay? When you have not sufficient potassium, damage to the action potential. Okay? Therefore, we need to balance of sodium and potassium. Hypernatriuria, hyponatriuria. Natrium is sodium. Hypernatriuria, hyponatriuria, hyperkalemic, and hypokalemic are very, very harmful for our body. Okay? For example, I ask you, hyperkalemia is the high level of potassium. Why hyperkalemia is harmful for our body?
Hyperkalemia, I think it causes the neurons to become less excitable. So it makes our muscle contractions weaker. Also, potassium, I think
What happened for heart?
stops the heart.
Stop heart. If one person has hyperkalemia, damage to the heart stop. با بعد فارسی میگم ما تو آزمایشگاه وقتی میخوان حیوان رو بکشیم پتاسیم میذاریم تو قلبش فوری میمیره. حالا شما اگه تو بیمارستان نشستیم یه مریض اومد متوجه نبودیم آمپول پتاسیم زدیم درجا فرق میمیره. یعنی پتاسیم برای قلب ضرر داده. متوجه شدید؟ Hyperkalemia is very harmful for heart, damage to the heart and heart stop and die this person. Okay? Therefore, the balance of sodium and potassium are very important for our body. Therefore, we need or you need to the normal value of aldosterone. Normal value of aldosterone. Okay? We have many proteins in the blood. For example, albumin, globulin, phenalbumin, and etc. Okay? These hormones in the blood connect to these proteins. For example, thyroid hormones combine to the globulin in the blood. Cortisol combine to the globulin in the blood. There is one important globulin. This globulin is named CBG, corticoid bonding globulin. CBG is one globulin, can combine to the aldosterone and cortisol. Approximately 50% of aldosterone combined to the CBG and 50% of aldosterone by free form. Okay? Therefore, aldosterone, 50% of aldosterone combined to the CBG, but 50% of aldosterone is by free form. Okay? I ask you, what is different between one hormone combined to the protein and one protein is free form? For example, insulin cannot combine to any protein and is by free form in our blood. Okay? Thyroid hormone combined to the TBG, thyroxine bonding globulin. Aldosterone, 50% of aldosterone combined to the CBG, corticoid bonding protein. What is different between one hormone combined to the protein and one hormone is by free form?
I think bound to the protein is reservoir and
A store of hormones.
storage. Yes.
Okay.
Free form is active form and we can use it. Right? What did I say?
Okay, another
Also, the ones which bind to the protein are more difficult to be released into the cell, but the free form one can easily diffuse into the cell.
Okay, what is different between one hormones? What is the functional difference between a hormone combined to this protein and hormone is free form? What is the different functional between two hormones?
Transport.
No.
The ones which are bound to a
Do you
protein.
know about the half-life?
Yes. Okay, so protein increases the half-life of
Very
the.
good, very good. When one hormone combined to the protein is high level of half-life, but when one hormone cannot combine to the protein and is free form, has a short half-life. For example, insulin. Insulin has
Few minutes.
6 minutes half-life. 6 minutes half-life. But thyroid hormones have 3-day half-life. Okay? Aldosterone has 1 day half-life. Cortisol has 3 to 4 half-life. But insulin has 6 minute half-life. Do you understand? When, please listen me, I repeat for you. When one hormone, for example, thyroid hormone, aldosterone, cortisol, combine to the protein in the blood, have longer half-life. For example, thyroid hormone thyroxine, have 2 or 3 half-life, but insulin is free-for. Insulin has 6 minute half-life. Do you understand? خب حالا فارسیش میگم به شما بچه اونایی که انسولین کم دارن دیابت دارن فردا بهتون میگم هر روز باید انسولین تزریق کنن هر روز چون هافلایفش کمه ولی اگه کسی مشکل هورمون تیروئید داره مثلا من هیپوتیروئیدیسمم باید دارو بخورم دکتر میگه روزی 1 بار بخور این صبح بخورم ظهر بخورم شب بخورم مشکل ایجاد نمیکنه چون نیمه عمرش تو بدن من طولانیه متوجه شدید؟ خب اگه سوال داری بپرسید
نه سوال ندارم
لا یعنی I ask you, what are factors control or release aldosterone? You know aldosterone in our body have receptors. The most receptors are in the kidney. In the kidney, salivary glands, sweat glands, mammary glands, and intestine. We have receptors for aldosterone. Aldosterone have receptors in kidney, intestine, mammary gland, sweat gland, and salivary gland. Okay? In these glands, in this area, in these organs, aldosterone, reabsorption of sodium and secrete potassium. Therefore, control balance of sodium and potassium in our body. Okay? I ask you, which of mechanism are there for the synthesize or release of aldosterone?
Sodium concentration in the blood. Yeah, when sodium concentration decreases,
okay.
Or when potassium concentration increases.
Okay.
And about chloride, I think when chloride decreases, because chloride is with sodium. About the sodium, we mix salt. So when chloride decreases, aldosterone increases.
Yes. Please good listen me. I ask you. If you answer me, you are very, very clever. Please good listen me. Decrease sodium value. Okay. Increase potassium. Okay. ACTH.
Increase.
Okay. And renin,
Increase.
angiotensin 2.
Blood volume or
When okay. And blood pressure,
Decrease.
blood value. Okay, درسته؟ Between 4 factors.
Doctor, could you please change the pen?
There are 4 factors controlled of release aldosterone. Decrease sodium, increase potassium, ACTH hormone, and renin angiotensin 2. You read in the kidney, renin angiotensin 2 induce blood pressure. Okay? ACTH release from hypophyse and control adrenal cortex. Decrease sodium and increase potassium. Between these factors, which of these factors are very, very important?
Three.
Sodium.
The first.
And it's ACTH because it is the one which.
The first one.
For release aldosterone, no release cortisol.
The
For
second one.
release aldosterone, these factors are very, very important.
The
Which
last
of these four important? Very, very important.
The last one.
Potassium.
No, it's either number 4 or number 1.
It would be angiotensin too.
The first one.
Decrease
first-
sodium or increase potassium?
Increasing potassium.
Decrease
Why?
sodium.
No,
Decrease sodium.
Why decrease sodium is very, very important?
because when sodium decreases,
It's because it's ruled in the heart rate.
Blood pressure.
when sodium decreases, the blood volume also decreases pressure.
No. Okay. No. Please be listening. Between these factors, increased potassium are very, very, very important. And more than another factors.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
The first factor is increased potassium.
Yeah, because of
Okay.
power.
The second factor is decreased sodium. The third factor is renin-angiotensin. The fourth factor is ACTH. 1, 2, 3, 4. I ask you, why increased potassium is very, very important?
Because potassium, when it increases, it stops the heart, so it is more important. Also, it causes the muscles to be less.
No.
Because of the cell.
Why?
Yeah.
I ask you, when you have increase of potassium, which of receptors activate in our body?
Sorry.
Potassium.
When potassium receptor, no. When if you have increased potassium value, which of receptors activate in our body?
Calcium.
No, receptors. When you have decreased sodium,
The
you
chemoreceptors.
know decreased sodium and decreased blood value.
Yeah.
Okay? When one person, for example, I have decreased blood volume in our body, one receptor activates.
It's the there's a cell denser or something like that.
Sodium, calcium receptor in the heart and blood.
الماكلة دنسة receptor وكيمو receptor الماكلة دنسة.
You need to this answer. Please explain for me. Please repeat.
كيمو receptor الماكلة دنسة.
Which activate the other ones.
of kidney.
No.
Glomerular cell.
No.
Complex.
Well, in the blood, which of receptors control blood value?
The juxta.
Blood value.
It's related
to kidney or
not? No, I think that it's
Pyroreceptors?
Heart contraction potential.
Oh, wait, I know, I think. If potassium increases, then what's it called? Then it becomes difficult to secrete hydrogen, so like it causes acidosis.
No. We have two type receptors. Please good listen.
Ballon trop
We have volume receptors. We have volume receptors and osmoreceptors. When one person has decreased sodium, therefore has decreased blood volume, therefore activate volume receptors.
It's barrels.
Okay? Volume receptors and baroreceptors. Volume receptors and baroreceptors located in our body in the heart and vessels. Okay? When we have high level of potassium, therefore activate osmoreceptors. Osmoreceptors located in the hypothalamus. Okay? Therefore, increased potassium is the first factor and has important effect because when one person has potassium level, osmoreceptors activate. Osmoreceptors located in the hypothalamus and reach sooner response for release of aldosterone. Then decrease of sodium. When one person has decrease of sodium level, has sodium blood value and blood pressure, therefore activate volume receptors and baroreceptors. Volume receptors located in the heart, in the vessels. Okay? The first factor is renin angiotensin. I asked you why ACTH is a weak receptors, weak activate for release of aldosterone. Why? You know ACTH is in this slide. In this slide you see ACTH effect on the adrenal cortex. Okay? But I told you, ACTH is a weak receptor for release of aldosterone. Why? You see in this slide, ACTH affect adrenal cortex and release cortisol, no aldosterone. Why?
Cortisol will inhibit the rest and cortisol don't go out.
No, related to this slide.
Your question?
I asked you, why ACTH for release of aldosterone is a weak effector?
Because the cortisol make cholesterol.
No.
Does it have to do with the zone where they are secreted? Aldosterone is secreted somewhere which does not have many ACTH receptors, but cortisol is secreted where there are many ACTH.
Aldosterone release which from area?
It's from
Zone of
venosa.
Okay, because ACTH have a low level receptors on the zona glomerulosa. Therefore, ACTH is a weak activator for release of aldosterone. Because ACTH have receptors on the zona fasciculata, no zona glomerulosa. Okay? This slide you see ACTH effect on the release of cortisol, no release of aldosterone. Do you understand? Therefore, these factors, the first factor is very, very important for release of aldosterone is increased potassium. Because when one person has increased potassium, immediately phosphoreceptors in the hypothalamus activate and help to release of aldosterone. When one person has decreased sodium value, immediately volume receptors activate. Volume receptors located in the heart and vessels. Renin angiotensin 2, this system located in the kidney and increased blood pressure is the third effectors for release of aldosterone. Finally, effector is ACTH. ACTH is a weak activator for release of aldosterone because ACTH have not sufficient receptors on zona glomerulosa. ACTH have many receptors on zona fasciculata. Therefore, ACTH is a very strong stimulator for release of cortisol. No strong effector for release of aldosterone. Okay? I tell you about the cortisol. Okay? Cortisol is very, very important glucocorticoid hormone in our body. Cortisol is important glucocorticoid hormone in our body. Cortisol control glucose value in our body and is very, very important hormone. Okay? Cortisol, approximately more than 90% of cortisol combined to the CBG.
Cortisol binding.
Cortisol binding globulin or CBG or transporting. This globulin combined to the aldosterone and cortisol. But I told you 50% of aldosterone combined to the CBG and 50% aldosterone is by free form. But cortisol, approximately not more than 90% of cortisol binding to the CBG. Approximately 5 to 10% of cortisol is by free form. Okay? Therefore, the half-life of cortisol is very lesser, more than aldosterone. Okay? Excuse me. Aldosterone has less half-life, lesser half-life more than cortisol, because aldosterone, 50% of aldosterone is by free form. Okay?
And for
Cortisol.
Cortisol.
how much the percent?
9% of cortisol combined to the CBG, but aldosterone approximately 50% to the combined to the CBG.
So the short life is more.
Yes. In this
Doctor,
slide, you see about circadian rhythm. Cortisol has circadian rhythm in our body. In this slide shows about the circadian rhythm of secret of cortisol. Aldosterone, thyroid hormones have not circadian rhythm, but cortisol has circadian release. This slide shows circadian release of cortisol. For example, when you wake in the morning, approximately 7 to 8 morning, cortisol has high level and decrease in the night, decrease at 12 in the midnight, at noon, has lesser value. Okay? Therefore, when wake from sleep at 7 to 8 morning, when you eat breakfast, cortisol has high level. Okay? یعنی شما اگر فارسی میگم آزمایش میگیرین معمولا حتما باید آزمایش کورتیزول صبح باشه. بعد از ظهر بگیرین اصلا دقیق نشون نمیده. یعنی ریتم طبیعیش اینه که صبح بگیرین مقدار نرمال صبح زیادتره. حد طبیعی. تو استرکا یعنی وقتی که دارین میان بعد میخورین کم میشه تا ظهر.
Question: if someone wakes up, let's say someone he sleeps in the morning and wakes up at 12 a.m. Will his cortisol level be high at 12 a.m.? Does it depend on sleep or daylight?
Cortisol in our total of body release at 7 to 8 o'clock. When one person sleep at noon, the damage to the release of cortisol. Okay? And it's very, very hard to. Unfortunately, the younger for you wake from sleep at 11, 10, 12 o'clock and damage to the release of cortisol.
How does the body know it's 7 or 8 a.m.?
The value of cortisol in our body is very, very, very decreased. Therefore, when wake at noon or 11 or 12 o'clock from sleep, you are very, very hungry. Because you have not cortisol, cortisol cannot synthesize glucose, and maybe you سرگیجه میگیرین، یعنی بلند میشین از خواب ظهر سرتون داره گیج میره میخورین زمین بخاطر این کورتیزولتون کمه. دمش بیاد. متاسفانه همه جوانای ما شبا دیر میخوابن. Physiologic morning is at 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning.
And it's better to wake up between 6 to 7.
Yes. شما میدونی چیکار میکنی؟ فیزیولوژی بدن به هم میریزی. You have hypothalamus o'clock in your hypothalamus, okay? When you late sleep in the night and you awake very late in the afternoon, damage to the hypothalamus o'clock and damage to the circadian rhythm of hormones, damage to your body. In the long time, you damage to the brain work. یعنی در نهایت شما افسرده میشین. میخندم. بچه اونایی که شب دیر میخوابید صبح دیر بلند میشین، فیزیولوژی بدن به هم میریزین. اصلا ساعت بیولوژیک بدن شما به هم میخوره. بعد وقت کم کم پرخاشگر میشین، عصبانی میشین، افسرده میشین، ناامید میشین به زندگی، استرس پیدا میکنید و شب زود بخوابید، صبح زود بلند شید.
یعنی دوست داشتم او ساعت دو بعد از ظهر به خاطر این او خیلی عصبانی بود. یعنی because of this he was always angry because he was waking up very late.
Yes.
Cortisol.
Yes. Cortisol very very important hormone. Okay. Don't tire.
نه
tired.
نه هستی
خسته هستی؟ بقیه کجا؟ What are your friends?
کورتیزولش خراب است.
خب بیا بخوا آذرقایی